Okay, let's have a moment of unfiltered honesty right at the top of the hour. Has anyone here ever completely sabotaged a massive life goal simply by opening their mouth and talking about it too soon?
Are you looking directly into my soul, Sarah, or was that just a rhetorical question for the entire planet?
A little bit of both. Welcome back, everyone, to the English Daily Podcast, your dedicated space for mastering authentic upper intermediate English through deep and real conversations. I'm Sarah.
And I'm John. Today we are dissecting an idea that genuinely rearranged my entire mental operating system about 2 years ago.
And before anyone panics and assumes this is going to be some strange, paranoid episode where we tell you to become a secretive hermit who never trusts another human being,
It's the exact opposite. It is actually one of the most liberating, mentally healthy psychological frameworks you can ever adopt.
So stay tuned. We are going to get philosophical, deeply practical, and John is probably going to roast me for an embarrassing incident that happened in the summer of 2022.
Oh, the podcast studio incident? That story is locked and loaded in my notes.
Let's get into the episode before you start telling everyone the punchline.
Welcome, English learners. Today's episode is specifically structured as a B2 to C1 listening challenge.
What does that mean for you as a listener? It means the dialogue will flow naturally and fast in certain places. You'll hear authentic idioms, nuanced arguments, personal anecdotes, and sophisticated psychological terms.
Your mission today is very simple. Try to listen to the entire conversation without pausing or reaching for a dictionary every 30 seconds.
Don't stress if a few complex words fly past you. Focus on the emotional tone, the core message, the personal stories, and the overarching theme.
Later in the episode, during our word tour, we will slow down and master 6 advanced words: unsolicited, validation, accountability, selectivity, momentum, and stagnation.
And in Say It Better, we will transform raw, hesitant learner sentences into fluent, powerful C1 level expressions that express your boundaries with total confidence.
At the end of the episode, challenge yourself to rate your comprehension. Did you catch 50%, 75%, or practically everything? Let's begin.
So, John, our core theme today is a principle that shows up everywhere, in cognitive psychology, in behavioral economics, in ancient Stoic philosophy, and in high-level business strategy. Never broadcast your early plans before you execute them.
On the surface, that sounds almost antisocial or paranoid, doesn't it? It sounds like someone saying, hide everything in a dark room, trust nobody, and operate like a spy.
That's what most people assume at first glance, but when you examine the behavioral science, it has nothing to do with paranoia. It's about protecting the raw fuel of your ambition.
Let's start with the fundamental human question. Why do we feel this overwhelming, almost desperate urge to tell everyone the second we get an exciting new idea?
Because we are biologically wired for social connection and shared enthusiasm. When an idea is born, whether it's starting a business, getting in shape, learning a language, or writing a novel, it feels pristine, beautiful, and flawless.
Right. At the moment of conception, the dream hasn't met real-world friction yet. It has no bugs, no rejected drafts, no sore muscles, and no financial loss. It's pure potential.
And we want people to celebrate that potential with us. We want them to say, wow, you're brilliant. That's going to change your life.
And that brings us directly to a fascinating psychological mechanism known as social substitution.
Break down social substitution for our listeners, John, because when I first read about this study, my jaw hit the floor.
Here's the psychological trap. When you announce a major goal to your friends or post it on social media and people respond with applause, compliments, and excitement, your brain releases a surge of dopamine.
The brain experiences the social reward now.
Exactly.
Your subconscious mind registers the praise and feels a sense of completion. It tricks itself into feeling like you have already achieved a portion of the goal simply because you announced it publicly.
So the biological drive to actually sit down, do the boring, gritty work, and suffer through the early stages gets significantly weakened.
You got the celebration before you even laced up your running shoes or opened the blank document.
We literally talk ourselves out of our own potential because the announcement becomes a counterfeit achievement.
Okay, I have to confess my own embarrassing blunder from a few years ago.
Please tell us about the fitness apparel brand.
Oh no, how did you remember that?
I remember everything, John.
In early 2021, I decided I was going to launch an eco-friendly athletic clothing line.
A very noble ambition.
I spent 4 weeks designing a slick logo, creating digital mock-ups, building an aesthetic Instagram mood board, and telling every single person at every dinner party, I'm currently developing a sustainable apparel brand.
How many garments did you actually manufacture?
0. I didn't even order fabric samples.
4 weeks of mood boards and 0 fabric samples.
But for those 4 weeks, in my own head, I was a visionary fashion entrepreneur. People were asking me about supply chains, and I was giving advice. I lived inside the identity without doing a single day of actual production.
And then what happened when the initial dopamine wore off?
Suddenly, people kept asking, "Hey John, when is the website launching?" And that initial excitement turned into crushing performance anxiety. The project felt like a heavy chore, so I quietly deleted the Instagram page and pretended it never happened.
That is the double-edged sword of announcing too soon. First, it drains your internal drive, and second, it invites an audience into the room before the dream even has roots.
And when you invite an audience into the room before you have results, what shows up immediately?
A tsunami of unsolicited opinions.
Unsolicited, meaning completely unasked for, uninvited, and usually delivered by people who have never attempted what you're trying to build.
Oh, everyone suddenly becomes a senior risk management consultant. Your second cousin, who has worked at the same retail desk for 25 years, suddenly has 22 warnings about your new digital marketing venture.
Are you sure about the tax implications? The economic climate is very uncertain right now. My neighbor's brother tried that in 2014 and lost his savings.
And the tragic part is, most of these people aren't evil or malicious. They genuinely believe they are protecting you from heartbreak.
But what happens when a fragile, brand new idea is bombarded by 10 different voices of doubt?
The doubt gets inside your head like a virus. You start running worst-case simulations in your mind that you weren't even thinking about before.
Let's use an image here. Imagine your new plan is a tiny, delicate campfire in the middle of a windy forest.
I love this metaphor.
When it's just you and that tiny spark, you can shield it with your hands, feed it small, dry twigs, protect it from the breeze, and let the embers grow hot.
But if you shout to the whole forest, "Look at my fire," 20 people rush over. Some throw giant wet logs on it, some blow on it from the side with cold skepticism, and others stand so close they consume all the oxygen.
And before the fire even has coals, the flame is completely extinguished, and you're left standing in the cold having a committee meeting about whether fire is even possible.
And there's an even darker, more uncomfortable psychological layer to this that we need to acknowledge openly.
The uncomfortable reality of human nature.
We like to assume that every friend, colleague, and acquaintance in our social circle wants to see us thrive at the highest level.
And consciously, in a polite society, most people do.
But subconsciously, when someone close to you suddenly announces a bold, ambitious leap forward, it instantly acts like a harsh mirror reflecting their own stagnation.
Stagnation, that terrible feeling of being stuck in place while the rest of the world moves forward.
Exactly. When you say, "I'm quitting my secure job to build my own business," what an insecure person hears in their subconscious is, "I have the courage to pursue my dreams while you are settling for safety."
And that triggers subtle defensive behavior. They don't scream at you, they just deliver tiny, quiet micro-insults disguised as concern.
Oh, you're trying to learn 3 languages? Isn't that a bit unrealistic with your schedule?
Or that half-second pause before they say, "Oh, wow, good luck with that."
That negative energy settles in your chest, and if you've already blabbed your plan to them, their doubt lives inside your head rent-free for the next 6 months.
Which brings us to the roast I promised at the beginning of the episode.
Oh, I knew this was coming.
Sarah, tell our listeners about the infamous Sunday family lunch of 2022.
Okay, in my defense, I was young, enthusiastic, and naive. I had decided I wanted to leave my stable corporate editing role to go completely freelance.
How many paying clients did you have signed on contract when you made this announcement?
0, not a single signature.
You walked into a traditional family lunch and announced a career transition with 0 clients.
I handed everyone in the room a verbal microphone to critique my life. Within 12 minutes, I was bombarded with questions. What about your pension? What about health coverage? Do you know that 80% of freelancers return to corporate life within 9 months?
How did you feel when you walked out to your car?
I sat in the driver's seat and cried. I felt completely foolish, reckless, and inadequate. I spent the next 3 months paralyzed by self-doubt, fighting voices in my head that I personally invited in by speaking too early.
But what if you had stayed silent, secured your first 3 recurring clients, built a portfolio, banked 6 months of savings, and then said, "By the way, I've been freelancing for 4 months and it's going great"?
The conversation would have been completely different. I wouldn't have been asking for their permission or validation. I would have been presenting them with an unshakable reality.
Results speak a language that doubt cannot translate.
But let's play devil's advocate for a moment, John. Does this mean we should keep every single goal locked in a secret vault forever?
That's where people take this advice to an unhealthy extreme. There is a massive difference between accountability and public performance.
Explain the difference between those two concepts.
If you post on social media, day 1 of my fitness transformation, #NoExcuses, you are seeking validation from an audience of people who will forget your post 5 seconds later. None of those followers will text you on a rainy Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. to check if you went to the gym.
That's purely performative.
But if you quietly message one disciplined friend who already works out and say, "I'm committing to training 3 days a week this month. Can I text you my workout logs every Friday to keep me honest?" That is accountability.
That is an intentional support structure, not a stage show.
It requires selectivity. You aren't hiding from fear, you are choosing your inner circle with surgical precision.
And how do you know if your silence is healthy protection or just cowardice?
Simple test. Is your silence protecting your daily actions, or is your silence replacing your actions?
Ooh, say that one more time.
If you are quiet and taking small, relentless steps every day, your silence is a shield. But if you are quiet and doing absolutely nothing, your silence is just fear with sophisticated branding.
That brings us directly into our core vocabulary segment, Word Tour.
Let's slow down and master 6 advanced C1 level words that appeared naturally throughout today's deep conversation.
Word 1, unsolicited. Definition, not asked for, given or supplied without being requested. Example, sharing your ambitious goals too early often invites a storm of unsolicited advice from skeptics. Collocations, unsolicited advice, unsolicited opinions, unsolicited feedback.
Word 2, validation. Definition, recognition or affirmation that a person, their feelings, or their ideas are valid, worthwhile, and deserving. Example, he realized he was posting his creative ideas online merely to seek cheap validation rather than doing the actual work. Collocations, external validation, seek validation, crave validation.
Word 3, accountability. Definition, the fact or condition of being responsible to someone for your actions and decisions, ensuring you follow through. Example, having a trusted study partner provided the accountability she needed to prepare for the C1 exam. Collocations, mutual accountability, hold someone accountable, personal accountability.
Word 4, selectivity. Definition, the quality of being very careful and discriminating in what or who you choose. Example, practicing selectivity about who hears your early plans protects your mental energy from outside noise.
Word 5. Momentum. Definition: the driving force or energy gained by the development or continuation of a process, forward motion. Example: once she gained momentum with her daily writing habit, self-doubt completely disappeared. Collocations: build momentum, lose momentum, gain momentum.
Word 6. Stagnation. Definition: a state of not flowing, moving, growing, or developing, lack of activity or progress. Example, seeing a peer succeed can sometimes trigger uncomfortable feelings of personal stagnation. Antonym: growth, progression, evolution.
Now let's transition into Say It Better, where we transform basic, hesitant learner sentences into sharp, powerful upper intermediate English.
I told everyone my plan too early and got scared.
I announced my vision prematurely, before I had built enough internal momentum to withstand criticism.
Analyzing your decision and withstand criticism convey emotional maturity and analytical self-awareness.
I posted online because I wanted likes.
I caught myself seeking cheap external validation instead of focusing on the actual craft.
It accurately identifies the psychological trap of social substitution.
I need a friend to check if I study.
I need structured accountability from someone who will hold me to my commitments.
Structured accountability and hold me to my commitments are professional-level phrases.
I am not telling people because I don't want advice.
I'm practicing strict selectivity to shield my early progress from unsolicited opinions. Why it works? It frames your silence as an intentional boundary rather than antisocial behavior.
I feel stuck in my daily routine.
I'm experiencing a season of stagnation and I need one quiet, decisive action to break through it. Why it works? It reframes feeling stuck as a temporary season that can be resolved with decisive action.
Don't ask me about my project yet.
I'm currently developing it quietly behind the scenes, and I look forward to sharing the results when the time is right. Why it works? It is exceptionally polite, calm, confident, and leaves zero room for invasive questions.
Now, let's listen to how an advanced English speaker connects these concepts into a cohesive, articulate reflection.
In the past, whenever I conceived a new goal, I would immediately share it online, seeking premature validation. Inevitably, I'd be inundated with unsolicited opinions that triggered self-doubt and led to complete stagnation. Now, I practice strict selectivity. I keep my early projects entirely under wraps until I've generated substantial momentum. Silence isn't hiding, it's protecting the work so the results can speak for themselves.
Look at how confident, concise, and elegant that sounds. That is the standard of English we are building together every single week on this channel.
Before we sign off today, we want to leave you with one practical, non-negotiable challenge for the upcoming week.
Think of one goal, ambition, or creative project that you have spent too much time talking about and not enough time executing.
Close your mouth, open your notebook, and give that dream one quiet, uninterrupted hour of real work.
Write the first page. Submit the application. Lace up the sneakers. Study the first grammar module in silence.
We would love to hear your listening score in the comments below. Did you understand 50%, 75%, or practically every sentence of today's B2 C1 challenge?
Tell us your score and share one quiet action you are taking this week without giving away the whole plan.
Thank you so much for pushing your English boundaries with us today on English Daily Podcast. Keep listening, keep growing in silence, and we will see you in the very next episode.
Take care of yourselves, everyone. Work hard, stay focused, and bye-bye.